Hello, and welcome to
Papi Approved Movies.
My name is Papi.
And I'm Natalie.
In our podcast, we will review and critique my favorite PG-13 movies.
Movies that I wasn't allowed to watch until I turned 13.
Every week, Natalie and I will watch a brand new PG-13 movie.
And I'll see if Papi's movies live up to the hype.
Which, of course, they will.
Today we're going to be watching Miss Congeniality.
Before we begin, there will be spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie and don't want it to be spoiled,
press pause and come back when you're finished. Now, Papi, tell me the deets on this movie.
Okay. Miss Congeniality came out in 2000 with a runtime of 1 hour and 49 minutes. It isn't streaming anywhere. We had to rent it on Amazon. Although I think it's streaming somewhere now, right? I think we saw that. It always happens,
We were
right?
bamboozled.
Yeah, we always end up renting something and then it ends up coming out the very next month or something like that. It was written by Mark Lawrence, Katie Ford, and Karen Lucas. It was directed by Donald Petrie. The main stars are Sandra Bullock, Michael Caine, and Benjamin Bratt. Fun facts, there was a direct sequel in 2005. This is one of your mom's favorite movies. She really likes Benjamin Bratt. So what do you think, Nat?
I thought that the first half was kind of annoying because they painted this whole scene about her being not like the other girls and like hating people that are feminine and thinking they're all stupid. And then she like gets a makeover and they take away her glasses and she has to kind of be like dumb and she goes on a diet to try to be beautiful. And I don't really think that's like a good message for anyone. But I do think that I do like how she kind of, her character developed and how she kind of like realized, oh, they're not really all stupid.
Right, she was pretty critical of them, right? She really hated all the beauty queens.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you rate it?
I give it a 3 stars.
Oh, oh, I would have thought that you would have liked it more because she's like a tough character, Mm-hmm. That doesn't look like you liked it very much at all, huh?
No, I didn't like a lot of the parts where they were like, I feel like, especially with The Office, I feel like she was almost like sexually harassed.
Okay, yeah.
And then, like I said earlier, I feel like it's a bad like image to paint. Oh, you have to do this to be beautiful, to be considered beautiful. Yeah. I don't really think that's a healthy mindset, especially for like a mainly women targeted movie.
Yeah, I think, definitely, you're right.
Why don't we get into the recap?
The movie starts in New Jersey in 1982. A little boy
New Jersey.
A little boy is being beat up by a bully. Little Gracie Hart defends him and punches the bully. Then she tells the boy she likes him, and he makes fun of her. So she punches him too.
I hate how the little boy is like, I don't need a girl to fight with me. But you literally just did. You needed a girl to fight for you.
It's true, because he was getting beat up, right?
Yeah.
And she was tough enough and stood up to the bully, beat him up, and then beat up the kid too.
Also, there's like a serious lack of teachers and yard duties on this playground. There's like no one cared.
Well, every movie you see when kids are out in the playground, there are no teachers anywhere. They're like, that's the stereotype, right? Like they're going to get coffee or something like that. I don't know where the teachers are at. So I know I'm on yard duty every day, so I don't know how that didn't work out. In the present day, Hart is undercover doing surveillance on some Russian mobsters. Eric Matthews and the rest of the FBI team are outside. Hart goes for the arrest when the lead mobster starts to choke on a peanut. Hart is ordered to stand down, but saves the mobster. Things go sideways and 2 of the mobsters make a run for it. Matthews apprehends them, but not before Grant, one of the FBI agents, is shot. So I don't know. I mean, the guy would have died, right? So,
yeah.
She got in trouble for it, but she saved someone's life, so.
Yeah. But were they going to kill him anyway? Or they were just going to throw him in jail, right?
Yeah, they were arresting him, and then he starts choking, and then as opposed to just letting him choke and who knows what would happen, he might have died before they got to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, she saved him. So I don't know.
And I think that's better because that would have been on her like conscience for a while. I think
that's why she did it. At the FBI office, McDonald, Hart's boss, suspends her from the field work for not following orders.
Did he have a farm?
Yeah. Then McDonald promotes Matthews to team leader to go after a terrorist named The Citizen. He sends letters through clues and stuff.
Why would you ever do that? I feel like that's very stupid. Like, just do your business. Like, well, you don't need to be so flashy about it.
I think there are people who've done that through history. Like the Zodiac killer used to send in like notes with codes and clues and stuff. And I don't know if I mean, there was a whole movie about him, so
Yeah.
I don't think I watched it. It's a little too dark for me. Anyways, Hart tries to get on the team, but is denied. Yeah. After she was just suspended, like she's still trying to get on the team. You know?
Yeah.
Later, Hart deciphers the letters and figures out something will go down at the Miss United States beauty pageant. The team decides to send someone undercover as a contestant to catch the citizen. They go through the FBI database and they put bathing suits on all of the agents to see who qualifies, in quotation marks, for the job.
Do you see how this is sexual harassment?
Let me finish. They even try some of the the male agents. Lastly, they try Hart. To me, that's the funniest part because, like, you can see what she looks like, right? And then they're like, they put a bathing suit. Oh, she's beautiful. Like, they never noticed what she looked like before. It's like
the superheroes in like kids shows where they like put on the tiny little mask and everyone's like, I wonder who she could be.
I know, for real. Anyway, so they put in and it's funny because they get in trouble because they actually put a bathing suit on the boss, McDonald, and he walks in, of course.
That's like that famous Disney quote. He's right behind me, isn't he?
Yeah. Anyway, so that's pretty funny. Matthew tries to convince Hart to go undercover, but she hates the idea. They even get into a wrestling match and discuss whether or not she should do it. It gets pretty violent, and they both end up beaten up on the floor when she finally agrees to take the job.
He also slaps her butt.
Yeah, so that's like that very famous scene, because they're not dating. They're friends, but not like, I don't know if that's appropriate. No, okay, it's never appropriate at work, right? But like, are they that close of friends where he can slap her on the butt? And I think they are. Right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Because she doesn't tell him not to do it. She just goes after him and they start wrestling and beating each other up, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
I love how there was like two guys in the back betting on who was going to win. And in the end, they both just died.
They both lost, yeah. The next day, Matthews and Hart visit the Miss U.S. pageant bosses, Kathy Morningside, Stan Fields, and their assistant, Frank. They hate the idea of Hart going undercover. They don't think she is beautiful or graceful enough, but eventually relent. Hart would enter the competition as Miss New Jersey, which makes sense because that's where she's from, right?
New Jersey.
Then Morningside connects Hart with Victor Melling, a world-class beauty pageant consultant and coach. Victor meets Hart and says that he cannot work with her. He thinks her uncouth and lacks grace and poise. He tries to teach her how to walk gracefully, and she mocks him and his lessons. I'm gliding here. You see that part when she almost gets hit by the car?
Yeah.
He eventually gives in and agrees to coach her. The team is assembled and Hart mocks everything and everyone along the way. They go to an airplane hangar and have a huge team of beauticians start working on Hart.
This is why, she has to, bring other people down. And she has to bring them down for being, feminine. And being like, oh, they're stupid. I was like, what's the point of that? You're not helping anyone else.
Yeah, she belittles everybody the whole time, yeah. And they start working. Although, I guess later on we'll find out she learns from it. But the whole process is kind of belittling to her. Because they're saying, oh, these are the things they work on. Her teeth. They do manicures, pedicures, facial, electrolysis, wax it. And they put her on a strict diet where she can't even eat food.
Yeah, that's what I was asking to say. You have to be on a diet to be beautiful. You have to be skinny to be beautiful. You can't have any body hair to be beautiful. All of these, standards that they put her through. And probably the other pageant contestants.
Well, of course, yeah. But I'm saying, she's fighting that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a tricky situation because I think she's doing it in the wrong way. Because she just, just snobby and just treats all the people like they're bad.
Uh-huh.
But she is fighting something that's I don't think is good either. Where like you said, if you have a hair and you have electrolysis, you have hair waxing. I mean, who knows? Are they waxing her arms? I mean, they're waxing everything. Who knows, right? So I'm just saying, I can understand her anger. She is perfect the way she is. She feels happy with who she is.
Yeah. And they have to go and say, oh, you're not beautiful enough. You can't do this.
True. Yeah. So I think that's why she's on the defensive. But I just think she's maybe a little, because she just puts people down as opposed to, hey, don't you think, as opposed to having a discussion about it,
Yeah, but don't you think how unhealthy that like mindset is, that like some girl or like someone like me is watching this movie and they're like starving her and it's just like, oh, but she's beautiful now.
Yeah, that's true. Right? Like, that's what you need to do now. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of points.
Like, oh, I want to go through a transformation like her. Now I'm going to starve myself and now I have to wear my hair down and now I'm going to get rid of my glasses. I also hate that stereotype too. That's like, oh, you're wearing glasses, you're nerdy, you're gross. And
Wait,
like, they get rid of it.
In the beginning? She does?
I think so.
Oh, okay. And so after they do all those things, she walks out of the hangar in heels and a short dress, looks amazing. And then Matthews, who's been working with her this whole time, kind of like a buddy, right? Slaps her on the butt, like you know how guys do at the gym when they're playing basketball and wrestling with each other. And then all of a sudden his eyes open. But she looked amazing. Like she did come out looking amazing. So I wish they would have done something not necessarily where it was not about her looks, but about the way she acted.
Yeah, more of the stuff she was doing with Victor earlier and how like manners, not saying like yeah and saying yes, like stuff like that.
Right, or eating or chewing with her mouth open and things like that, and drinking a beer and like burping and stuff like that. Like I would have preferred that right, because then they were like, oh, we need to teach you etiquette so that way you can be, you can fit into this thing.
And a lot of etiquette is not just like based on gender. I feel like chewing with your mouth open is like doesn't just go for girls, So like
that's true. Yeah. Anyways, but Matthew is like, he looks at her and goes, "Whoa!" All of a sudden, right? Even though before that, although he may have found her attractive before, but
yeah,
maybe not. I don't know. Hart and her team get to the pageant. She has a pin with a camera and an earpiece to relay everything back to the FBI agents. On the bus, Hart meets Cheryl, Miss Rhode Island. Cheryl's very sweet and very nice. They go to a formal breakfast and Hart meets Miss California, Miss Hawaii, Miss New York, and Miss Texas. You feel like they all like fit the stereotype of what they were supposed to be?
I thought that they were all pretty friendly, but they didn't seem like ditzy or dumb, except for like Miss Rhode Island. But she was just kind of ditzy. It wasn't like she was dumb.
Yeah.
She was just like easily excited about things. Like very cheery person.
Very sweet, yeah.
And I feel like people like that often get characterized as like dumb or stupid. But maybe they just like have their head in the clouds sometimes, A
callback to 10 Things I Hate About You. Kind of the same thing, right? Like one of the characters, what was it? Kat. Very angry, very aggressive, smart. Right?
Yeah.
And Bianca, very sweet, very kind, dumb. Although we find out she's not dumb, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of the stereotype. You're right. I agree with you. Later, we see Hart struggling through the dancing choreography. She's frustrated and dismissive. Once again, just kind of bad attitude about things.
Although I assumed that would be something that she would do good at because she like works out and she does like boxing. And that's also kind of like routine, like footwork and arm work and all of that. But
once again, that's like the girly, right? So I think that's back to the I only do things like a guy, not a girl. You know what I'm saying? Like the quotation marks. The girly thing to do would be dancing.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't want to do that, Later that night, Matthews comes to get Hart for more training. Victor asks Hart, what is her talent for the talent portion? And she says she has one. Then Matthews starts flirting with her, and she recognizes that he is attracted to her. Starts singing that little song that she sings, so Mom likes that song. She thinks it's cute. The talent portion begins, and we see many contestants sing, dance, and twirl batons. Hart comes out in a milkmaid costume and rubs glassware with different amounts of water to make music. During her talent, she sees a suspicious man she thinks is a citizen. She jumps off stage and accosts him. We find out later he's just an innocent audience member.
But since they're in Texas, he has a gun, and that's what she thought.
Yeah, everybody has guns in Texas. That's what they said, right? Both McDonald and Morningside are furious. Morningside even threatens to kill Hart if she ruins her pageant.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Foreshadow.com. That night, the training continues. They begin to work on the interview process. Hart is full of attitude, and Victor calls her out for degrading pageants and beauty contestants and only thinking about her job. She gets angry and quits. Matthews eventually convinces her to change her mind. Hart says she will commit to the beauty pageant and stop with all the negativity. So she kind of realizes that she was being kind of rude, and she's like, nope, I'm going to give it my best. I won't mess around anymore. The swimsuit portion of the competition is coming, and all of the agents on surveillance are whooping it up. So, because she has a camera on her little pin, everybody was dressed in the changing room into bikinis, and then all the agents that were watching it on the other side in the surveillance were going crazy. I figured you hated that part of the movie. Huh?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty inappropriate.
Super inappropriate because we saw everybody clothed, but maybe 5 minutes before everybody was naked, right? Because you're putting on clothes. It's a dressing room. So.
And there were some people that were like turned around, of course, but they were like putting on one pieces and stuff.
Oh, yeah. So very, very inappropriate. Hart is very body conscious, but eventually goes out there with everyone else. After the swimsuit portion, they do the interview, and she does okay. Afterwards, Cheryl becomes a suspect because of a protest she attended in her past. Hart is tasked to get close to her and find out if she is a citizen. She brings pizza, and they all go clubbing. There, the girls begin to gossip and talk about how shady Morningside is, and how she'll be fired from the pageant after it's over. Hart also finds out Frank, who's a creep, is her son, not her assistant. Did you like that scene where they all went to the club?
I thought it was kind of sad that they had like this whole big moment of them eating pizza for the first time in a while. It's like they haven't been able to enjoy themselves.
I guess kind of like a professional athlete. They have to watch everything. Everything until the time of the pageant. And then maybe afterwards they're like, I can eat finally. And then they all go out to pizza or something. I don't know.
Hopefully. I did think it was fun. I liked how she got rid of like all her cameras and stuff. Like I thought that was nice because she realized they needed their privacy too. Yeah.
She got rid of it before the changing room too, right? So I don't know. I mean, she did it so that way she could be free of them too.
Yeah.
That y'all could be legit and have a good time. Back at the surveillance headquarters, McDonald announces that the citizen has been arrested and that everyone needs to pack up and leave. Hart says that she feels that the contestants are still in danger from Morningside and requests for a team to stay back. McDonald denies her, and when she asks help from Matthew, he shoots her down. She decides to stay back as a civilian to keep the contestants safe. McDonald was only like a negative force in the situation, right? He just kept telling her no. Not listening to her, just kind of saying, nope, you're wrong.
Yeah.
In the next scene, we see Morningside and Frank scheming together and planning to put a bomb in the Miss U.S. crown. Blowing up the winner would elevate ratings, and she could possibly keep her job. The next day, Matthew disobeys orders to return and goes back to the pageant when he finds out Frank, who has a long rap sheet, is Morningside's son. So Matthew was on his way up and then he came back. The live show begins and Hart is really into it. She nails the choreography and the talent portion where she uses Matthews as a dummy to teach her about self-defense. Then she crushes the interview and makes it to the top 5. That's like her revenge, right? Because he couldn't fight back.
Yeah.
So she just beat him mercilessly, right? She kept hitting him everywhere. So that was good.
Yeah.
Cheryl wins the pageant right when Hart realizes that the bomb is in the crown. She tries to rip it off Cheryl's head, but people fight her back.
Also, like a side thing, Mrs. Texas, she was like super shocked that she didn't win. And it was almost like she was expecting to win, like she almost cheated. I don't know if that was like how it was.
She did. Was it Mrs. Texas? One of them cheated.
With the curly red hair? That was Mrs. Texas.
Yes, she cheated. So she was with Frank. Like, I think Frank kind of said, hey, make out with me and then you'll win. And I think she did, and then he didn't have any control over the winning. He just took advantage of her. I think that's what happened. So because they would do eyes at each other. So they were like scheming together. So she thought she was going to win because she was promised she was going to win. That's why she was messing around with the judge. Well, he's not even a judge. He's just an assistant, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so they're fighting over the crown. And Matthew goes after Frank, who has the detonator, and they fight. Finally, Hart gets the crown and throws it up in the air where it explodes without injuring anyone. Morningside and Frank are arrested. Matthews asks Hart out, and then they kiss. The next morning, the contestants award Hart the Miss Congeniality Award. She is moved and thanks everyone to their speech.
I didn't know what Miss Congeniality meant.
The end, like friendly, kind, things like that. So I like the fact that she didn't win, right? Because that would have been silly, like if she would have won.
Yeah.
But I also like the fact that they give her the award anyhow.
They give her a award.
Yeah, an award. And completely not connected. I don't think it was a real award. They just made it over. All right, the end. Natalie, could this movie still be made today?
Honestly, wish it wouldn't be made today, but I feel like it would.
You think it could be made today?
I feel like it could be made today, but I wish it wasn't.
All right, tell me more about that.
Like I said, I think that it's not a very healthy mindseted movie. I don't really know how to phrase that, but it doesn't give people a healthy mindset about self-confidence or what is perceived beautiful or how to do that. But I do feel like that's like the plot of a Disney movie where they do a big makeover and then wow, she's beautiful and all that. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that would still happen. I don't think maybe they would have the scenes of all the guys watching in the changing room or
sure,
the
blatant sexual harassment kind of thing.
Yeah, or that little side plot with Mrs. Texas and Frank. That was kind of unnecessary. I know it was to paint him more as a villain, but I feel like a lot of people, or a lot of younger people, a lot of 13-year-olds, because I feel like you pointed that out to me, wouldn't have known that, and I don't think it was very necessary to make him evil since he's already a pretty evil guy.
Yeah, that's true.
So I thought there are some parts that would be taken out, but I do think that it would get made, unfortunately.
On a whole nother note, not connected to this movie, I want to hear your opinion about beauty pageants in general. You have these women who are coming from different states, and they're all parading around in gowns, and then come out in bathing suits, and then they come out and are graded on their talents, or they're judging on their interview. I mean, just in general, do you think beauty pageants are just kind of archaic, something from the past that maybe should go away, or do you think they have value? Or
I think that the talent stuff is okay because it's kind of like a giant talent show, but I don't really like how people are getting judged based on their appearances or bathing suits, especially. You can tell people are beautiful without them being sexualized, and I feel like beauty pageants are often sexualizing women.
Yeah, okay. The other thing is like a talent show like American Idol or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that's why The Voice had them turn around, right? So that it's just about the voice, not about what they look like, But I agree. I'm not a fan or not fan of beauty pageants. I do wonder if someone who's in beauty pageants, what they would say to defend them, you know what I mean?
And I'm sure that a lot of beauty pageant people go through terrible health problems. They probably have eating disorders and stuff that could be caused from all the stress and pressure in that.
Yeah, because they're being judged. They're being literally judged for what they look like, right?
Yeah, and they're being judged oh, does she look fat in this? Or does she pretty? Or her hair looks weird and stuff like that. I
would like to hear let's say someone who would say, hey, beauty pageants are good for self-esteem, or beauty pageants are good for this or that. Just to have a difference of opinion, because to me, on the outside, we couldn't tell. Obviously, Hart thought they were horrible, and then when she got to meet the contestants, she realized that it's not all bad, right? The people are nice and it's kind, and they all got along, camaraderie. But
I think she wasn't really, I'm not sure if I'm correct on this, but I don't think she was really defending beauty pageants in general. I think she was defending the people in it.
Yeah.
Because I feel not only her, but a lot of people were oh, people in beauty pageants are superficial and dumb. But she was they are not dumb. They are not superficial. They're just trying to do something, show off their talents. I feel a lot of them were in it for that.
Yeah.
And I feel that's what she was defending them, the people in it.
Okay. All right. Does it pass the Bechdel test?
It does.
Yeah, it does. All right, the Bechdel test is a test to check about female representation in movies. There are 3 criteria. First criteria, is there more than one named female?
Yes, there is. Of course, Hurt, and then there's all of the contestants. I know they had names, but I can't remember them right now.
Sure.
But Miss Rhode Island, Miss Texas, Miss Hawaii, they all had names, but I just can't remember them.
Cheryl's the main character. The Miss Rhode Island's name is Cheryl, but yeah, the other ones have names. But
and even the runner of the Miss Morningside, was it?
Oh, yeah, that's right. The bad person, right? Yeah. That's good. Criteria number 2: do they talk to each other?
Yeah, of course. Cheryl and Hart talked a lot because they became friends, and then they all kind of argued with Miss Morningside. Or I guess Hart at least argued with Miss Morningside.
All right. And and then criteria number 3, do they talk about anything other than a man?
I think so. I think that Cheryl and Hart have a conversation when they have hot cocoa about what talent she's going to do.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of conversations that happen, right? When
There's a lot of little conversations.
Yeah, they talk a lot mostly about the pageant or.
But that's just one example.
Yeah.
Where they talk about the pageant itself and what talents that Cheryl's gonna do baton twirling.
All right, so it does pass.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Thank you for tuning in to Papi Approved Movies.
If you like this episode, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcast app.
We put out an episode every Monday. If you want to suggest a movie for us to watch and critique,
email us at papiapprovedmovies@gmail.com.
That's papiapprovedmovies@gmail.com. No spaces, no caps.
We'll try our best to get to your suggestion.
And remember, it has to be PG-13.
Next week, we're watching The Italian Job, so I hope you join us.
I'm Papi.
And I'm Natalie.
See you next time.
Bye!